So the Quaife Intermarque League, the final round of the year is about to go underway. Go now. It's a great start from Tommy Field from pole position, but following through perhaps. There is Richard Smith. He dives up on the inside of Chris Brockhurst. Brockhurst is going to have to go right round the outside if he wants to continue to lead. They're still side by side there for second position. I think Keith White is trying to get involved there as well. Let's see what happens. They head through Druids then for the first time, and it is Tommy Field that leads. Brockhurst up on the inside, and it's Keith White going side by side with him for second. White has the inside line for Quaife Intermarque trying to get in there as well as Mick Robertson as he dives up on the inside. But it stays with Keith White in second. Third is Chris Brockhurst. Fourth is Richard Smith. And fifth is Mick Robertson as they head into 30s then for the first time of asking this 14-minute race. And now they break into clearways then. And already getting away is Tommy Field. And they now head through clearways, and Dave Shelton there in the BMW sitting in 6th position, the best of the non-silhouette cars, as they now power down the Brabham Straight, and the battles on for second as Brockhurst tries to come on the inside of Keith White. Is Keith White going to stay in front? I'm not sure, but gets sideways onto the curb went Brockhurst, and that's just about allowed Keith White to stay in the lead as they head into Dredge for another time, and Daniel Smith trying to get past Dave Shelton then. And this battle of a second continues. Keith White just about staying in front of Chris Brockhurst is trying to come round the outside of him is Richard Smith, but he can't do that. Keith White very fast through Graham Hill Bender, and he has just managed to get him a gap as they head down into 30s then. They head through McLaren, up into clearways, and trying to come round the outside for third position. There is Richard Smith. This is all allowing Mick Robertson to get back in there then. He started from 6th, so he's gained a position. Now on to Clark Curve. It's a complete a lap. It's a big lead already from Tommy Field. And it's side by side for third, as Chris Brockhurst having to defend from Richard Smith there as they get onto the brakes into Paddock Hill Bend. And it's a 3.5 second lead for Tommy Field, our race leader then. And Chris Brockhurst running very wide through Paddock Hill Bend. Just about managed to stay on the tarmac. Leading there is Tommy Field. I've got a feeling we won't see much of him in this race. In second is Keith White. Third is Chris Brockhurst. As they break into Graham Hill Bend again. Keith White very low on the brakes into Graham Hill Bend. And then he seems to manage to make a gap there. As they now head into 30s for the third time of this 14-minute race. We should get something like 17 laps out of this race. And into clearways they go then. The 3 cars for second position, absolutely together. Keith White still in that position then. As they power round Clark Curve and lights the blaze for Chris Brockhurst. But Keith White manages to seem to pull away a bit down the straight that time. And here goes Richard Smith up on the inside of Chris Brockhurst. Brockhurst going wide there because he sees the car of Richard Smith looking up on the inside, but he can't get through. So still there in that third position is Chris Brockhurst Vauxhall Tigra. And he's right behind the BMW Z4 of Keith White. They're still behind the 2 of them. In 4th position is Richard Smith in the second of the Vauxhall Tigras there. He's now, and they're absolutely side by side as they head through the corner. And they're still side by side. They head through McLaren. They're still side by side now as they go through clearways. But still there in 3rd position is Chris Brockhurst, and Richard Smith almost runs into the gravel there. So that's lost him a bit of time as they cross the line again. And so Keith White getting away there in 2nd position. 3rd, Richard Smith. Richard Smith. And 3rd is Chris Brockhurst. And Daniel Smith's got ahead of Dave Shelton now in about of a 6th position. So Daniel Smith in that Peugeot 206. And they're side by side here, as I think that's Colin Gom trying to gain the position. And Dave Shelton's got back ahead of Daniel Smith then for 6th. So the BMW E46 M3 is through. And then I think there's Colin Gom. In fact, I think it might have been Chris Ayling perhaps leading that gaggle of cars as they head into 30s. Meanwhile, down into Paddock Hill Bend comes our race leader Tommy Field. He's got about a 6 or 7 second lead already at this stage in the race. And in about of a second, Chris Brockhurst again attacking Keith White as they head into Paddock Hill Bend. 2 cars notice the tail now. Brockhurst go for the outside line as they head up to Druids, but there's yellow flags out. Because off there we have Vic Hope in the Volkswagen Corrado. So trying to come round the outside there for 2nd position is Chris Brockhurst. And then he looks to the inside for Graham, but he can't do it. And back in joining the battle then is the number 4 car of Richard Smith. Now down into 30s then. Keith White still leading this battle. So they head through the corner. Then McLaren. And then they will Have to break down for clearways again up on the inside. Tries Chris Brockhurst. He can't do that though, not yet. As they now power through Clark Curve to complete the 6th lap of the race. And in the slipstream there, Chris Brockhurst trying to bring his car closer to Keith White and trying to make a tack into Paddock Hill Bend. He won't be able to do that. They've got to lap the, I think it's the Renault Clio of Tony Skeleton in a second. It's still yellow flags at Druids, as you can see the recovery there of the Volkswagen Corrado of Vic Hope. So they won't be able to make a move at that corner at the moment. So the 3 of them chasing after Tony Skeleton in the Clio, about to be lapped. So Keith White there in the second. But now there's not really going to be a chance at coming 30s because they've all got to wait their way up on the inside line of Tony Skeleton. And then they can through 30s. Then McLeod. Then they will break for clearways again. None of them quite yet knowing where to make a pass. I think there, Richard Smith just running to the back of Chris Brockhurst. Still lights ablaze on the Vauxhall Tigra of Chris Brockhurst. Again, it seems Keith White may have a bit better straight line speed. The flame comes out the back of the BMW Z4. Now we have still there, just briefly, Dave Shelton getting right behind Mick Robertson. So that could be a battle to watch for 5th. As it's battle for 2nd, and Keith White and Chris Brockhurst absolutely together as they head down into Graham Hill Bend for another time. Still, Keith White manages to stay in front there in his BMW Z4. We're approaching the halfway distance in this race on the Brands Hatch Indy circuit. 1.2079 miles, and trying to round the outside there. It's Brockhurst. He's going to try and go right round the outside. I think he's fought against it. No, he's still trying to say now. Make their way through Clark Curve. He's dragging up alongside Keith White's BMW Z4, but he cannot do it. He decides to tuck underneath in the slipstream then. So they head down to Paddock Hill Bend again, and I think Brockhurst is going to try up on the inside this time, but no, he doesn't. Keith White stays in 2nd position, and there on the curbs is Richard Smith trying to get up alongside Chris Brockhurst, but he cannot do it yet. They're about to lap Rod Burley in the Volkswagen Golf. Let's try to round the outside. Now it's Chris Brockhurst. He's up on the inside now with Keith White. They head into Graham Hill Bend. He takes 2nd position, and following through now is Daniel Smith. Even Richard Smith. He follows him through into 3rd position. So 2nd now is Brockhurst. 3rd is Smith, and now they've got the Volkswagen Golf of Rod Burley to lap as they head into McLaren. They're all going to have to make their way from the inside now for clearways. So it's 2nd Brockhurst, 3rd is Smith, and 4th is White as the 3 cars head through clearways then, and then onto Clark Curve. Keith White losing a bit of time down the exit of the corner. So they power up across the line. Look at Dave Shelton's powerful BMW. He's into 5th position now. And now breaking into Paddock Hill Bend. Comes his battle for 2nd. Laid on the brakes is Richard Smith. And he gets right onto the tail of Chris Brockhurst as they head through the corner. But he loses time through the corner. Now Keith White's going to have a attack him up on the inside as they go into Druids. And I think that will give him the position as they head through the corner now. And they're still side by side, a bit sideways there when they exit the corner for Richard Smith. He's going to try up on the inside as they head into Graham Hill Bend, but Keith White stays in 3rd position. And as they power their way down the Cooper Stroke with about 5.5 minutes to go, it is in 2nd, Chris Brockhurst getting away now from the battle for 3rd between Keith White and Richard Smith. And now Dave Shelton's going to join the scrap very soon because he has closed them in the BMW. He's lapping a couple of seconds a lap quicker than them. As side by side again go Keith White and Richard Smith. Really scrapping now. Here comes the BMW of Dave Shelton. The much more powerful car. Not this time because he has to get on the brakes earlier. Now Chris Brockhurst seems to be slowing in front. Yes, he is. He's pulling to the side. Up to 2nd, then goes Keith White. So, looks like Chris Brockhurst will be going to retirement. He managed to complete 10 laps of this race, but no more it seems. Yeah, Keith White then under pressure from Richard Smith as they head through Graham Hill Bend. Now, Keith White defending the line as they head down to 30s. And then he takes back to the racing line, and that gives Richard Smith the choice to go up on the inside. He tried it, but it didn't work that time. Now he goes to the outside for clearaways. He can't do that. He decided against it, I think, at a point in that move. So Keith White stays in 2nd. 3rd position is Richard Smith, and now Dave Shelton lights a blaze on the BMW alongside Richard Smith. He comes, he's got 3rd alongside Keith White. He comes, but he'll have to get under the brakes as he does now. And is this going to give Richard Smith the inside line? It does. He dives to the inside and he gets that position. Up to 3rd he goes, or back into 3rd. And then again the power of the BMW draws him up alongside. We've got a car in retirement on the inside of the corner there. I think that was Luke Arminger in the Peugeot 205. So down into Graham Hill Bend. His second is White. Third is Smith, and he dives to the inside. Very late in the middle of the corner. He went for the inside line. It didn't work though. Keith White still stays in second. And now Dave Shelton up on the inside for 30s. He just backed out of that at the last second. So Keith White, they're still in second. We've only got less than 4 minutes to go now. So through clearways they go then. Richard Smith trying really hard to find a way past Keith White. They power down the straight now then. And here comes Dave Shelton. He's got past Richard Smith again. He's going to try and drop alongside Keith White. Again, he's holding the brakes. And Richard Smith again dives up on the inside to get that third position back once again. So Keith White still in front there. Dave Shelton can't seem to be close enough. But again, he dives up on the inside for Druids. Can he find a way through here? But off the circuit goes Daniel Smith into the gravel trap. And he will not get through that. Steam coming up from the car as well. So he's out the race. But his cousin still there in third position. It's Richard Smith trying up on the inside again of Keith White, but still cannot find a way through. Now as they head into 30s, it's still Keith White. But again, here comes Richard Smith. He goes to the outside line through McLaren. That'll give him the outside line for clearways. They're side by side. And they're still side by side. Is Richard Smith going to manage to keep out the gravel? He does. So the three cars all together. Now here comes the power of the BMW once more. He powers past both of them. Now, he managed to stay in front for Paddock Hill Bend. Yes, he does. He defends the line. So, now, here comes Daniel Smith trying to come round the outside. Richard Smith tries to come round the outside, but it should be under yellow flag because Daniel Smith's car there is in the gravel trap. With only about 3 minutes to go now. Not many more laps. We've got a Westfield about to be lapped. Or a Tiger even of Wayne Rothwell. And side by side now between Keith White, Richard Smith. Dave Shelton's getting away, but I think Richard Smith's going to get third position here. Up on the inside line. I think they're still side by side. Then Keith White's now got the inside line for clearways. And that should give him the position. It does. But Richard Smith managed to cut back again. They're side by side as they cross the line. Here they come. And they're almost equal on the brakes, but Richard Smith on the inside line has the position really sideways. Goes Keith White there in the BMW, so he's going to go on the outside line. The batch for third position and heads into Druids. And there's Dave Shelton that's got past them both in the BMW, but they're side by side for third. Keith White and Richard Smith then break for Graham Hill Bend. Keith White stays in front, but then cut back. There's Richard Smith in the Vauxhall Tigra, and he's got the inside line now as they head into 30s. They're still side by side, and it's gonna be that position, I think. No, Keith White darts stuck on the inside as they lap Tony Skeleton, and he's got the position. I think there may all have been a bit of contact there, but he's got the place back. So in third position is the BMW Z4 of Keith White. In fourth there is Richard Smith. I think with 2 laps to go now as they head into Paddock Hill Bend. Keith White just about holding off Richard Smith for the final podium position of the year. They break now into Druids Hairpin. They go through the corner. Keith White still standing in front. Sideways out the corner was Richard Smith. He tried to draw up alongside Keith White. Couldn't do it though. But he's right behind it. He's got the better line out of Graham Hill Bend. So he's got the inside line now for 30s. So they're side by side as they head now into the left-hander. And they're side by side again through this corner. You hardly ever see cars go side by side through certain McLaren. We're seeing the majority of the laps between these two drivers. They're still side by side through clearways. Richard Smith's a bit further in front, I think, as they exit the corner. But I think they will be side by side again as they cross the line for the penultimate time. The next time they cross it, it'll be the second flag. So now they break for Paddock Hill Bend. Much later on the brakes is Richard Smith. And he gone straight on into the gravel trap. So Richard Smith will be out of the race. Not unless he can manage to get through it. His cousin didn't. And he won't be able to either. He parks just behind Daniel Smith's car. So both the Smiths in the gravel trap at Paddock Hill Bend. It seems like Keith White's got a problem now because Mick Robertson's closing him in hand over fist. He's up on the inside for Graham Hill Bend to get third position. Is he? Keith White fights back on the outside line. They're still side by side and in front goes Mick Robertson. He's got third. Meanwhile, I think we've already seen the checking flag for the race winner. Yes, Tommy Field, there he was into Vauxhall Tigra. He wins. And now in second position, here comes Dave Shelton. 20 seconds behind, he takes second position. Then we'll have to wait another 10 seconds or so for Mick Robertson, who's in third. And Keith White not too far behind him, but he'll only finish fourth after all that. In at fifth position will be Simon Smith, and sixth will go to Chris Ayling.